All right, everyone. Welcome to another XAFer community stand-up. We are working a lot with AI these days, so it makes sense that we're doing another semantic kernel meetup. In this case, we're going to be talking about some real-world use cases, but specifically in the world of XAF and the DevExpress component that right now they are being released and is a beauty. We, as always, recommend everyone to join our Facebook group. We are already 700 members. Go to LinkedIn, join us there as well. Also Twitter, follow XAF on Twitter. Is a place where they are always putting the latest documentation and the latest features that they are releasing. So AI, semantic kernel. I just came back for the Microsoft AI tour on Mexico, and there was a lot of talk about semantic kernel and how it was a great SDK to abstract everything that we're doing right now in the AI world, meaning that just if you do the whole implementation in your semantic kernel code, then you only have to switch your instantiation, your OpenAI. So basically, if we come here and right here, as you can see, I'm gonna change my AI key later on, my API key later on. But the idea here is, you see, we are adding an Azure AI complete chat completion, but right here we can add a lot other things. So the good thing is that you can always just change the model right here, and you will be able to keep all your code the same. So everything that you are doing be after that will be the same. So even if you're not using OpenAI, even if you're using any other one, from here you will be able to just change the instantiation, change your API key, and you will be good to go. So having said that, I'm gonna pass the screen to Hoche. He will be giving you guys a really nice presentation, and then we'll come back and we'll show you some other things on my side.
Perfect. So it's time to take over. Today I only have one screen because my mobile monitor broke. So, well, let's play with this one. So let's see, let's make this smaller. Okay, everyone. So we have a few things to show today. Really nice examples. I'm connecting from my Mac to my computer at home to show it. But first I want to show you some other things. With Javier, we do have our own fork of the semantic kernel to do integrations with XAF. So in here, this is a copy of the official semantic kernel repo. We just did it like this to be free to actually handle the internal code. A lot of the namespaces and classes are internal, so you need to have them in the same solution. You cannot inherit, and there is a lot of other restrictions. So this is basically in my GitHub account. So you will see all the examples from XAF and XPO will be there. And okay, so today we have some other things to show, also related to semantic kernel. Semantic kernel is basically framework, which is a collection of services to interact with AI to make all the process more easy. So the key piece that you need for that, or for any AI tool, usually is a chat component. Thanks God, Developer Express created one, and I wrote a blog post about it today because I'm super bad doing user interface things. I did my own chat interface like 1 month ago, and it took me like 3 days or 4 days to just do the UI. So it's not my thing, definitely. So thanks to Developer Express for the component. The component is super nice. It includes a lot of use cases already, and most of them are semantic kernel underneath. So you will end up using semantic kernel anyway, even if it looks like you're not using it. So I just want to show the official article. So there are now basically Developer Express the AI functionality to most of their components, but this component is new, which is the chat component. So as you can see, it's not a big deal. It's just like a chat, but it's super easy to integrate. And it is not a simple chat component because it also has AI integration. That's the most beautiful part of it. It's like it uses part of the semantic kernel to basically interact with any OpenAI compatible service. So in here, in this documentation, they say that you can use Olama, OpenAI, or basically anything that you have that is OpenAI compatible. So here they say like Olama or Azure OpenAI and or OpenAI, which are actually the same. But today, actually testing this in the morning, I found out something that took me some time to figure out, and is that even though the code is almost the same between Azure OpenAI and OpenAI, kind of the main difference is that the model names are different. For example, in Azure, ChatGPT, like GPT-4o, the ID is like this, and in OpenAI is like this. And if you send the wrong ID, basically your application will like break, start like looping for some strange reason. So it took me a while to figure out that just the model name, if you put it wrong, this thing will go crazy. So here there are like the two different examples. The one above is Azure OpenAI, and the one below is OpenAI itself. The main difference is the name of the model, and they use a different client. So here you can just copy and paste this. And also, what I want to tell that is not, they don't explain it explicit in this blog post, is that they also cover some use cases already with the chat component. So they have a normal chat, they have an assistant which includes RAG, and they have streaming. Here I need to correct this. This is just the root URL. So, okay, now it's time to show some code. First, I will start showing how the chat component works, and then I will show the integration with XAF and the repository. So here I have, I hope that it's not too small, the official Dev Express examples. I modified this a little bit as I show in the article, because in this case, I'm not using Azure OpenAI, I'm using just the normal OpenAI client. So, and the main difference, and I wrote this here, just to remember, is that the name of the model is different. So I think this one is running, but let me run this again. Okay, so let's continue. And this is the root component. So this is already connected to the OpenAI service. And we can say something like, explain me what C# is. And this is the most basic implementation. As you can see, there is almost no stylish or anything like that, but it works fine. So in this case, it's not the streaming. I guess we'll see the answer in one shot. So you have the copy paste functionality and the regenerate to send the same prompt to the AI service. So that's really nice. So there are other implementations of this that they don't talk about in the blog post. So let me show them, like all of them. So in pages, this is the one that we're seeing, which is the root component. So then let's go and check streaming, which is what we are used to with the OpenAI implementation in general. So let's see this one. So let's change the URL. Let's put streaming. So the same UI is basically the same code, just one option for streaming. And here is like, tell me what C# is. So see, now you're getting the token by token, basically. And so you can see that it's like actually writing. I think most of the people who like this type of setup, like you see it when it's like writing, it makes it looks faster actually. Okay, so another good thing about this component And thanks again to the Developer Express team for this. You will save me a lot of time, is the Markdown. This component can also produce Markdown, like the one that you use in the GitHub README. So you can come here and Markdown. So I will write something like, tell me 10 facts about El Salvador in Markdown. So as everyone I think knows so far, I was born in El Salvador, so it's my country. And let's see what we get from this. Okay, so see, this is like in Markdown format. So you can have messages in Markdown that is easy to copy paste and then put it in your blog post, in your GitHub README or wherever you want to use it. And last but not least, we have assistant. This one is beautiful because basically it's you can do a RAG implementation in basically like 2 lines of code. So again, thanks to the Developer Express team for this. So if you check the source code, again, they don't talk about this. I mean, there is no information about this. It's like we were playing with the source code to find these examples. And we have this PDF. So basically is a menu. So as any other document, so they did all the heavy lifting to basically get the PDF, extract the text, generate embeddings, and pass them as context to the AI service. So right now I can ask anything about this menu, and it will answer me only on the context of this menu. For example, I can ask it, like, tell me about the soft drinks. Okay, so basically here is answering from the information inside of the PDF. Even the prices and everything are the ones who we got here. So see, $8, $4, $4, and $3. So 8, 4, 4, and then 3. So, and also it do a citation of the where it found it. This is, I think, not working yet, but the implementation is so clean that I cannot wait for have this official component. And well, that's everything for the component. I wanted to show the component first before we move. All of these are using the semantic kernel implementation for the abstractions of the client for the AI. And also they have an interface that you can implement. Basically, you can hook up any AI model that you want to hook up with the code. So it's like beautiful in that respect. It's a huge time saver. There is no other way to describe it. So now we have this huge repository, which is the one that I show you in GitHub. This is the official semantic kernel repository, slightly modified by Javier and me to include XPO and SAF demonstrations. So the first thing that I wanted to show you is that there is a concept of connectors, and in the connectors we have memory. So memory is basically how you can use it in RAG, but you can use it also as context. And the idea is I get something from the database is, let's say, a text, and we split that text in small vectors, which are the embeddings. And then we pass that as a context. And basically, it's like the chat interface will remember, even if it never has, even if you never wrote that information in the chat, it will be already there in the context. So in this, you can save that information in all these different databases. So Azure AI Search, Azure Cosmos DB Mongo, DB NoSQL, Chroma, DocDB, Custo, and so on and so forth, right? But there is not, I mean, there are only a few implementations, maybe like 10. And as you know, XPO supports, I think it uses supports 14 different databases. And with Javier, we did like 10 different other connectors, so let's say 24. So it's like, it's a big addition for this, because you can change the connection string, and that's it, you have your memory storage. So this is our implementation. Javier will do a demonstration of this one later. And basically, with this, you can insert memories in the context. And by memories, I think like you can insert text, but you have to do the work of extracting the text and put it into the memory and in a collection. So what we did, kind of the first example, is that if we go to the SAF part, is that we added that text memory entry. So we have here the which inherit the one from the connector. And here we only do, like I did this to do an association. And as you know, you need to register this type. So I registered the base type, so you can use it within SAF. And a simple class. This, I was playing with this morning, and it was a mistake because I broke something, but still I'm going to show it. So you have a text document. So in this case, we have something to return the collection name, something to return a set of lines of strings. In this case, I'm splitting every 50 words, I'm returning a line, but you can split your text as you want. Chunking is a different magic and a different feel, like how you split your documents into useful chunks. So I guess we will speak about that in the next meetup, because there is a lot of things to talk about that. But in this case, the simple idea is that we're splitting the text that we have in a set of, of pieces of 50 words each. And that's it. And we get it from the file data implementation. So this is the one that comes with XPO and XAF, the normal one. So let's run this one first. This one is kind of easy. Easy peasy. That was the name of a sandwich that I ate today. Easy peasy cheesy. So let's go. So in here we have, let's see. Yes, here. I think we have these arrays. For example, the text is the history of El Salvador, and these are the embeddings from the text. So here you have some metadata. Basically, it's a JSON which tells like the ID, where it came. I mean, it's something that is kind of human readable, so you can identify and query the part of the collection that you want to load into the memory. For example, let's say that you have a book of 100 pages, and the answer that you're looking is in the page 98. So each of these records will be like a page, and the collection will be the name of the book. So if the book is called, I don't know, 100 Years of Solitude, and then you will have one page per record. It's depending on how you want to split it. And as I show you, I'm split on 50 words each per record. So first you have to do a cognitive search to decide which page might contain the information that you want, and then you load that into memory. And from that, you can use it in the chat context. So, but the example I'm going to show today is kind of just the generation of the embeddings and the similarity search. So let's create a new, I'm going to delete this one so you can see that we are actually doing it. And text document, I'm going to also delete this one. And I'm going to create new, and then this will be history of El Salvador again. And here, let's see, where do I have this text? I think it's in the solution. So let's go here, here. Yes, here in data. So here are the facts about El Salvador. So let's copy all of these. And let's load the file. So let's save this. Oh, my Mac is about to run out of battery, so soon I will pass this to Javier. And I can do the generations of the embeddings. Ah, surprise, what happened? Intersection is null. Let's see. Let's try to go back the demo effect. I test this 100 times today and it works. So let's do it again. And maybe, yeah, no, it didn't generate anything. So we have the text. Let's generate embeddings and application error. What's happening? Javier, I guess I will have to give you the screen for a little bit, just while I figure out what is happening and when I get my charger too, because my computer is about to turn off.
That's fine. That's fine. I have a couple of things here to
Demo effect, you know.
take some time. Yeah. All right. Let me share my screen and let's go from there. So right here, the first thing that I want to mention is, as always, we want to integrate all this AI functionality into SAF. So what is the one of the goals that we want to achieve with this AI? So basically is to chat with our own data. So Hocha was talking about the RAG, basically creating embeddings from your PDF, your database, your information, and then from there starting to chat with your data. So there are a couple of things. The first thing that I wanted to mention was going to be, uh, let me see if we do this quickly just to show the first idea. Um, it will be, maybe I have to look it up right away. So custom list editor. So the first one that we were mentioning that I was right here was to have this panel that we have here on the left of a list view as the chat component, and you will chat with your list view. Basically, your list view will be the data source of your AI solution, and then you can basically type any type of question. Hey, how many projects do I have in this list view? How many products, and so on. And the other one that actually Pedro here, he was actually suggesting was making like a floating button or something that it doesn't matter where you are in your app, it's always there. And if you need to chat, basically it opens your chat window, and then you can have already all your PDF indexed and everything, and you can start asking questions about it, about them, hey, or about your project. Or imagine that you could have a shop repair or in a home warranty or in insurance, anything. and you can chat with your data, and you can ask your clients can come here and say, hey, like my car is having a radiator problem, and it will ask you if it has already all your data for the repairs or something. Okay, did you put water? Did you change your oil? Did you did this? Did you did get as much data as possible? And then after that, book an appointment. You see, now it's asking you if you need, yes, please. It's asking, yes, please. I need help finding a mechanic. And Arizona. And you see, it gives you some solution of, but basically this is the general solution. In my case, I want them to say, okay, it's in my auto repair, and we can have the scheduler module that it was failing this morning. That's why we're not showing that demo. But basically, it was and creates an appointment in our schedule module, on a schedule control, and then we check the availability or the base and so on. So that's the idea here, that we could use that. So, for example, as Juan is saying, it will be useful for your knowledge base, that you put the manual, and the AI can consult and actually can give you reference of the 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 part of the manual that he's referring to. So I think that there is another solution, chat with PDF. Let me open it. That you can actually drop a PDF here. Let's try to the XAFers training. Okay, we're in for desktop, so let's do XAFers training. Let's do this one, and then you have you see this PDF is about getting started with XPO, and it actually even gives you some questions that you can. What is the main difference between persistent and non-persistent? And then you can chat with your PDF right there and give you some pointers to where on the PDF is saying that. Imagine that for like insurance that have uh, huge claims, and they need to go and search all your benefits, 150 pages and 250 pages, and you can check, is this included, is this not included, what we can do about it. So this will be one of the ideas, to have a floating chatbot. On the other one was, as we were showing on the video, having a panel here on the template, and right beside the list view that you can actually play with it. But let's talk about how we will go about that, because there are things that you have to do. Like if you think about chatting with your, let's say, with your data, but then you need to do something with that information that the client is giving you. One example would be to create an appointment. For creating the appointment in the SAF scheduler control, you will need to actually call your own code. And the way to do that is with something that is called function calling. So if we come back here, and we come back to this, and we do semantic kernel, and let's go here, and there should be plugins, these attribute kernel functions that you can put some description, get lights, and it will actually be invoked by the AI model. So what is the idea here and this concept of plugin? So right now there are a couple of concepts that are really interesting. So we have Copilot, we have plugins, we have agents, and if you check tutorials all over the internet, some people use them interchangeable. So the idea here is that Copilot is something that works along with you. So basically, if you're writing code, it's typing code with you. Agent is something that works like more autonomous. That means that if, and let me just move this to this side. That means that if you need that your AI agent is reviewing the data that you're generating, and after that, sending an email when something happens, like any type of more autonomous action, that will be an agent. And plugin is basically a set of functions that you are providing to the model so it does something. But it's basically allowing the AI model to call your data, to call your functions, and do some type of processing. So the idea here would be that you will need to create a kernel function that gets called when the client say, I want to book an appointment, and then checks in your event table, okay, is there an appointment for this day? Is there is no conflict? Is the mechanic that is going to be assigned to the project free? And then book the appointment. And then just do object space, create object, create appointment, create event, and so on. So that's how we do it with kernel functions. And the good thing, because AI doesn't know, it's not that intelligent after all. It doesn't know a lot of things. It cannot know who you are. It doesn't know to math, so it doesn't know how to add numbers. It doesn't know uh, basically anything that it hasn't been trained for. So if you ask now who is the best actress this year in the Oscar or any type of award, is calling actually a plugin on the back end that is calling the Bing API, or calling any browser plugin that goes to the browser, to the Google, to the search engine, and check that value and get it back. So the great thing is that this concept of function calling, they can concatenate each other. So meaning that if I tell them, hey, my name is Jose, and then I ask them, what is my name? It will not know. But if I put that in a kernel function that store all the context, and when they ask, I pass it back, it will know. Then let's say that I want to know the weather here, and it will not know if it's like right now 100 something degree. But if you have a weather API with a kernel function, it will be able to call it. And let's say that it doesn't know math, but if you have a kernel function that adds to number, it will call it. And then the interesting thing is that you can say, give me my location. If I already told them, temperature multiplied by 7. So it will go and check who you are. It will call the function that tells them who you are. Then it will ask, where are you located? It will find that one. Then will call the weather API. It will get the temperature, and then it will multiply by 100. So it will do all those concatenations. And you can actually, let's take a look. So right here we have the concept of kernel. As I mentioned, this should be an environment variable. We should not have for OpenAI key here. I'm gonna actually delete that resource after this. And then let me see if
Do
there is
as I
nothing.
say, no as I do.
Exactly, exactly. If you see in the example that we fork, we have it done correctly. And we have a environment variable.
Environment.
So, but we were just testing, doing some things fast to present something. So these things happens. I will just remove that one. But the idea here is like we have our, our kernel here. And let me see. What is that I'm missing? I don't know why it's everything in lowercase. Right. So we have the idea here is that we have our instantiation of the kernel, and the good thing about this, as I mentioned, is you only have to change this string to change the model, see how it, and then we build the kernel and we invoke it. So basically we're simulating a chat, and we're passing this, give me a list of breakfast food with eggs and cheese. So I can run this, and it should give me a list of breakfast food with eggs and cheese. You see right here, cheese, omelette, egg, so on, so on. Now, the other thing here is the use of plugin, and there are already some built-in plugins that you don't see. Like again, if you are asking to add two numbers, it will not know, so you have to call something. So if you see here, the way that we add is like we say builder plugins, and we add from type. This plugin, if we like, yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but this is from the namespace semantic kernels plugin.core. So that coming from this plugin, and if you see there is a pragma here saying this is subject to change. But if you actually add that, then you can invoke that and tell them, hey, give me the day of the week. And if we run this now, it's Thursday. So this is also calling function because the AI cannot know that today is Thursday. Now, if we continue, you see that we have another plugin that is the conversation summary plugin, and that's the idea of starting to use this type of plugins to actually create something more meaningful about it. And then you can actually, you see, put your inputs. Say I'm a vegan and searching of new recipe. I love spicy food. Can you give me of a list of recipes that are vegan friendly? And then we're gonna invoke the plugin, but inside the plugin we're gonna invoke basically another action because it has several actions as we were showing here. The idea of is having several kernel functions doing something right here. In this case, they are actually turning off a light. So the code here should be sending some data to some hardware to turn the light. But if we run this one now, you see, you have basically a summarization of the action item, meaning that what is the action item? You need a list of breakfast recipe and it's open because it's not done. So you can start seeing how you will be using your input with the plugins to do any type of behavior. And you can continue and let's now show this part. So the other point that is important to mention is that you can also have like variables in your prompt that it can be replaced on runtime with any type of data. So if you see here, this will be our prompt, but we're passing a history. So it knows have some more context, and then we will actually pass that as a kernel argument and invoke with that prompt. So it's the same type of approach because you have several things to control. You have the system message is just telling your assistant you want to be this certain way. You want your assistant to talk as a pirate, it will say, "Oh, Mary," whatever. If you say you get annoyed with every question, it will say, "Why you have to ask me? Why don't you look for Google?" Things like that. You give them a persona to the assistant, so he knows what to do, what not to do. You can give them examples, and then you start tweeting your prompt, your to give them as much context as possible, to give them an example of what you're looking for, and then you add your plugins on top and start playing with it, start seeing all the configuration, start seeing everything you want, and from there it start giving you more minimum results. The idea of the plugin is to call your own code and do something about it. All right, let's run this one more time. And as you see, it gives you right here a list, and it makes sure that it gives you like numbering wise, and you can ask the format and so on. So that will be the idea of plugin, because I wanted to explain plugins because it doesn't let me go to the, yeah. You can see here kernel functions and everything, and you have here temperature, maximum of tokens, and all the other settings. So the idea, what I wanted to show this is exactly because after you chat, you need to do something. You call your kernel function, book an appointment. You call your kernel function, summarize a meeting. You call your kernel function and do something that the AI will not be able to do it. So, Hocha, do you want to come back, or I go to the
No,
MySQL
no,
example?
it's time. I mean, there is something that you will have to show, and it's the memory plugin for XPO, the one that we did in the other video, because I
Yeah.
have a mixed DLL reference by reflection, so it's a big problem to fix. So I want to show the chat integration with XAF. So let me share screen again. Yeah, again, do as we say, not as we do. Don't change the project the last minute. Okay, so let's go back to TeamViewer. And okay, so what happened is that today I integrated the chat component with this SAF application, and they come with a different version of semantic kernel than the one that we're using as the source code here. So my example for generating the embeddings basically is broken. So I'm going to show a different one. So the one that I want to show is, I guess most people will love this one. And I hope so, because it took me all the afternoon. Um, but it's beautiful. And again, thanks for people from Developer Express. I mean, the component is so useful. And what I'm going to show at this moment is RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation. I showed that already just using the laser component, but now I'm going to show it in SAF. So just wait for this to load. And okay, so this afternoon, I was doing the integration with the chat component because I wanted to have it in SAF. So we have this class. This class, let me show it to you, is like super simple. Is RAG PDF. Basically, it's empty. It only has a file data, nothing there. And also, when you're using the source of semantic kernel, you have to use all these pragma disable because if you write too many spaces, it will complain. If you don't add the curly braces, it will complain. A lot of things it will complain because they want best practices when you write code. So it's like, it's something nice to have, but sometimes it just interrupts you so much. So let's close all of this. So we have a normal domain class with a file data property. And then we have this one. Basically, this one is a non-persistent object, which has only one property. That is this one. Is basically a stream. So what I did is I created a property editor for stream types. So I'm not going to explain so much about the property editor. Developers Press has like beautiful documentation about it. So the property editor is kind of really simple. Is basically this is a copy-paste implementation from Developer Express. And the only thing that I did is, okay, is like I changed the type in the example that they have, they're using a string and I'm using a stream in this case. And that's the only change that I did for that property editor class. And then you have the component model that this is something kind of new. Maybe Javier will correct me on this. They changed the way that you do property editors in version 24.1 or the last one of the 23s. I don't remember well, but now it's kind of more simple. You don't have to have adapters and things like that. So here you have the component model and it's basically the same. You just pass a stream and that's it. And then let's see the component. In the component is super easy. See that this is the beauty of the chat control that they created. In the case that they have, they are getting the value from an embed resource, but we don't want to have embed resource. We want to feed them with different information coming from SAF. In this case, PDF. So they have the prompt here and see the prompt says like your analytic assistant specializes in analyzing PDF files. Your role assistant is providing accurate answers to their question about the data contained in these files. So you can have several files too, but the more you have, the more tokens you will use and the more loading time it will require, including summaries, calculations, data filtering, trend identification, clearly explain your analysis, process, blah, 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 blah. So that's the huge system prompt that you have for this. So, and here, basically, we are passing the value, which is the stream that we got from the file data. So this is all that you need in general. It's not so much. And here in the basically code behind of this, you have one property, which is the stream, and that's basically it. So we have a controller. Let's go and check the controller. And in the controller is also super simple. This goes for the RAG PDF class that I showed you that only has a file data. And then you have a pop-up Windows action. And here what we do is we cast the object. This is kind of the super normal procedure. Everyone have done this thousands of times. Then you create the non-persistent object space. That's why you have to pass the type. Here, this is really important. Then you create a memory stream and you save the content of the PDF that we have in the file data property to that stream. And that's it. And This one I make a mistake here, but it's okay anyway. So, and then you create the view and you pass the object space and the non-persistent object that you want to show. And that's it. So let's run it. I already loaded two PDF. First is the restaurant menu that I showed you before, and then I printed this one, which is basically I went to the SAF documentation and I just printed this from the getting started. So I'm going to ask what are the methodologies to work with SAF, and they will tell me kind of these three different ones that we have here. So basically, we click here, and then we chat with the document. Now it takes some time initializing, and let's see what we can ask. Let's see. In me, so, and, hello, and let's fix these typos. And be careful of clicking OK. I did that thousands of times today. So now it's reading the PDF and it's going to provide me an answer out of the PDF. So this is beautiful already. You can have basically simple class. You load any PDF that you want, and then you can chat with it. It's like super easy steps. So this save a lot of time because they didn't only provide a chat component, they did some boilerplate code that you might need to do something like this. So, okay, so here is compiling the approach and blah, 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 code generation versus manual, and so on and so forth. So, Javier, do you have any PDF that you want to check that you know that is public, that, or let's print something? Let's go on Google for XPO. Express XPO. And then let's print this. So this is the XPO data source for dashboards, I think. So let's print. Yep. And print. Let's put it in the desktop. XPO source. And save it. And now let's create a new one. Let's hit OK here. So here, new. Let's load the file. It's in the desktop. So we want XPO data source. Let's save it. And let's chat with this. It will take some time depending on how big the file is and blah, blah, blah. So let's wait for this. And of course, since I'm sharing my screen, it will take forever. Like it's always like that, right? Okay, so what is the XPO data source? Okay, so here is the, and here is referring to the document. In this case, I'm passing a random git, but you can paste the name of the file that you're actually reading. So you can say like, I got this answer from this PDF. So you can have like more context for that. And the one for the embeddings, I guess Javier can show it. It will show only the code because my implementation is broken because I have the two different versions of semantic kernel in the same solution. So this one will be my last demo for today. So let's see. Stop sharing. Okay, Javier, it's back to you.
All right. All right. So this will be fast. The idea here was to expand the use of uh, memory providers that the semantic kernel repo has. So they have, let me check quickly. All right, so let's see. So they have these providers for Azure AI search that it was before cognitive search. They has Cosmos, they has DocDB, Mongo, Postgres, and so on. But that's basically it. So we added the XPO, and with that one, we are able to access all the other ones that are not allowed. So this, let me see if I have a breakpoint on, because yeah, before we start cleaning and reading everything. So if we take a look briefly at this solution, right here, we are going to be creating an embedding using this embedding model. And of course, right here is how you should do it with an environment variable. And then we're going to start passing information to the AI. So this is my name. I work as a tourist. I'm living in Seattle. You are giving all this information. And then you are creating embeddings from that information. And with those embeddings, you are able to load those embeddings in memory, and then you will be able to call your chat and use your own data and so on. So if we run this and let's debug the test. Let's give it a second. If you remember those LLM, they don't know about uh, text. They know about tokens. They know about vectors, and that's how they actually do those cosine similarity. Okay, now is put a breakpoint here. So if we come here, this is our MySQL, and this is the database, and there is nothing here. So if we refresh, you will see now that you have these collections about me, and you have this crazy amount of numbers. So this is the embedding that is being created based on the data that we're passing. And I think that, let me tokenizer, OpenAI, let's see. So if we see here, when we start adding some text, doesn't matter what it is, you see it's dividing in tokens. So right here is 34 tokens, and all these colors are showing. But at the end, it's all these random numbers that they are giving some weight, they are giving some uh, values, and from there you are calculating what should be the next token, and we're passing that again to the model. So right here you can see all those collections, and that's one thing that we have been talking about. When you are doing this huge amount of rack that you want to chat with your data, I think that you should organize it. Like these are the PDFs from accounting. These are the PDF for legal system. These are the PDFs for HR, or these are your data from whatever it is. Because the idea is that you want as much accurate results. So you want them to know, don't look in everywhere, just look in this section. And then with all these embeddings, it will be able to actually give you information about what you are asking. And you see the collection is about me, but you can create different collection, create different segments. So with that one, we run it. And you should see all the steps here while we're saving memory with all this data, this key info. That's the same that it was in database that we were showing. We are recalling the AI embedding. So basically, right here is
Also,
asking where
Javier,
did I draw.
there is something that I mean, it will be nice for everyone to look in the code. I mean, they can look in the repository later, and is that there are several ways to inject memories. You can inject it with the memory plugin, with the memory storage, and then as a prompt. So that's kind of the confusing part about using this type of framework that there is so many ways to do the same, and almost every name of the things is alike. Sometimes it's plugin, sometimes it's functional. It's almost the same. Sometimes it's memory, and sometimes it's memory plugin. Sometimes it's memory by prompt, and so on. So um, it can be tricky. You need to read a little bit about it, and you can take a look to the fork that we have, because we're doing basically moving all the examples that they have from semantic kernel and mostly memory to using XPO and XAF. And sorry that I cut you off here, but I needed to kind of explain that part.
No, but that's fine. That's fine. The idea here is to show that we are creating the embeddings from there, storing in our MySQL database and getting the data from there. We load it in memory, we send it to our application, and we're good to go. Um, and that's basically it with this example. I think that we have shown that we have our chat component inside SAF, that we are the functionality to create our own plugins to call all code, and that means creating objects in SAF and so on. And we'll be doing a video about that shortly. This demo I didn't want to run it because we was failing this morning. But the idea here is that we are going to be able to, from the uh, models from the chat, call our own functions and do something about it, whatever it is. In this case, the most straightforward example is creating an appointment in the scheduler, but it could be sending an email, it could be summarizing things, it could be. And that's, I think that the other part that is really interesting is that all the components that we have, the memo text, the text area, will be able to have these functions, behaviors, as they are calling them. That means that you can adjust the tone, you can translate, you can expand. So in the same response, you can explain it, you can proofread, rewrite, shorten, summarize, get image description, and so on. So I think the future is brilliant with the amount of things that we will be able to be integrating in our apps. So as of right now, we have seen really nice solutions about a learning system when they actually creating courses with AI and only modifying, actually reviewing the test of those learning systems. We have another really nice example, this voice controller, where they use text to speech to, instead of chat, make a phone agent for auto shops. And you guys can take a look here, and right here it asks you what's the problem with your car, and select a and book an appointment and give you recommendations. So the future is brilliant here. So I also would like to know if anyone else is using this in their application. Let us know, give us your experience, what is working, what is not. I know there are a lot of things that right now people are playing and realizing, okay, we need some tweaks here, there. Use Azure AI Studio to do all your prototypes, and then from there integrate in your application. From the conference, there was a lot of great questions about content filters, about, hey, I'm trying to use this in my pharmaceutical system, but it's getting blocked when I try to refer or recommend something, because this is something that they should not do. This is only on the medical part. Same thing with violence, with sex, like with a lot of like races. So there are a lot of things to have in account here when we're using our system. So be responsible with AI, keep integrating stuff, let us know what is working, we'll do the same and go from there. Anything else we want to share, Jose?
No, I think that's it, Javier. And I guess the next meetup is going to be AI again, because we have like so many things to show, but not so much space. And the things are changing so much lately that we need to keep updating the examples all the time. And
Yeah.
also, if anyone's going to the AI tour in Paris or in Berlin, I will be there. So if you want to talk about AI, I'll see you there.
All right, guys, that will be all for this meetup. See you next month. Thank you for joining us as always.
See
Saf
ya.
out.